Hey, and welcome back. For those of you that have been watching the channel for some time, you've probably seen the variety of videos I've done highlighting some different products from Xvive. Now, I've been fortunate enough to collaborate with them over the past few years, which means they've sent me all these products for free to share with you guys, test in my own gigging applications, and give them feedback on. Now, what's really cool about my relationship with Xvive, though, is long before I ever got to work with them, through this channel, I was a customer of theirs just on my own. Back in the summer of 2020, I purchased their U4 wireless in-ear monitor system because I'm really just a local musician playing smaller gigs where oftentimes we don't have a dedicated sound engineer who's bringing monitors or wireless transmitters for in-ears, and it falls on me to bring those things if I want to utilize them for my own monitoring. What I really liked about their U4 system was, one, it was very affordable. It was like around $250 at the time, and it was also very convenient to use for someone like me who's playing drums that doesn't need to draw a lot of different power sources. Most of the things I'm bringing to a gig are acoustic and don't require electricity, so by not needing to set up a whole system where I'd have to plug it in and bring an extension cord or borrow it from somebody else's, I found that to be really simple and easy to use. Additionally, the packs that they came in were very small form factors, so you could just plug the transmitter directly into the mixer and you could take the body pack and just put it in your pocket or hang it off your belt. Now, I've been using that same unit since 2020 until Xvive sent me that unit to review on the channel, which at that time I swapped it out for the new one just to prolong the life of it. So a couple weeks ago, Xvive reached out to me and they told me that they had upgraded this system to what they're now calling the U45 and asked me if I would want to try it. So I was very eager to jump at the opportunity to check this out, and I've been using it for the last couple weeks on some gigs here. But this is it, the new Xvive U45 in-ear monitor wireless system. Now, it looks pretty much exactly the same as the U4, and if you go to Amazon or Sweetwater, you're going to see that it only costs $20 more, but with that, there are a ton of upgrades that are super exciting. The first one that I saw was, instead of operating on the 2.4 gigahertz wireless spectrum, this unit now operates on 5.8. Now, this is extremely useful for two reasons. One, if you're in a band where multiple people are using different Xvive products, you only have 6 selectable frequencies to choose from. And in reality, you really don't want to bank on using every single one. So I think it's safe to say you have 3 to 4 different people who could be using one of these wireless packs at once, all being on different channels. Now, the second reason this is really beneficial is that 2.4 is a very congested wireless signal from my understanding. I'm really not like a techie about this stuff, but from what I understand, most cell phones' wireless networks are operating on 2.4. And if you're playing at a show where there's going to be a lot of people, most of them are going to have smartphones in their pockets that are, interrupting these bandwidths. So 5.8 is much less congested and should be much more reliable on stage. Now, aside from that, Xvive also made a couple other upgrades to this system, and some of them really excite me because they were the exact sort of things that I was telling them that I would love to see improved on their original U4. Now, the first one for me is a huge deal, and that is this on and off switch on the top on both the transmitter and the receiver. On the old unit, I noticed that when I would just throw these products in the bag after charging them to bring to a gig, a lot of times the switch on top was vulnerable to flipping on just with having like cables and other stuff in there jostling it around. So I actually had to put together like a little foam Pelican case to keep it from turning itself on, showing up to a gig and seeing that I had used most of the battery life that I had just charged up. This new one that they've put together is a little more recessed and is not going to turn on its own, which is extremely useful for somebody like me. The other one that's huge is they have changed the USB charging port on here to be USB-C instead of the micro type B or whatever type it was. USB-C is the way of the future. My laptop charges off USB-C, my cell phone and my iPad are all on USB-C. So even if I forget my charging cable that came with this Xvive unit, I'd probably be able to use something else I have or borrow one from a friend very simply. So just much more convenient for gigging musicians who are going to run into issues on gigs. In the package, they also include a USB cable that has a Type A on one side to charge into a little brick, and then it has 2 split ends so that you can use one cable to charge both your transmitter and receiver at the same time. Along with that, you also have this adapter from XLR to 1/4 inch, just in the case that the outputs on your mixer are 1/4 inch and not XLR. And then you've got the same little drawstring bag to put everything in. It doesn't actually come with one of those USB bricks, which to me isn't a huge deal. I have like drawers and drawers full of those things all around the house, so I'll just steal one from that and keep it in this setup. I got this package last week and have been using it on some gigs just to see if everything worked fine before sharing my thoughts here. The gig I brought it to was really an awesome opportunity to test it out because I need to run sound, I need to play drums, and a lot of other members in the band also use the same Xvive system that I've had for the last 5 years. In fact, because I had this new set, I was able to lend my original set out to our trumpet player and let him borrow it for the night. So this was really helpful in this case. When I got to the gig, I plugged it in and I never even had to switch it to another channel because everyone else was using the 2.4 models, so I was able to choose any of the 6 channels here that I wanted to use for my setup. And while we're talking about that, that brings up one more great feature that I haven't needed to use yet, but I'm really excited about. They have a channel scan on here, so when you get to your gig and set up, you can go ahead and scan for the best channel out there and make sure that you're set up for the most reliable connection throughout the evening. Now, I used this through an entire 3-hour gig, and I turned it on well before we started the gig, and I didn't even bother turning it off at set break to store the batteries because Xvive claims this has a 5-hour battery life, and for me, that would cover almost any gig I would do. The longest gigs I usually play are probably in the 4-hour range, and I would be more inclined just to turn it off at set break and save the battery life, so I think 5 hours is more than enough to get you through a gig. This new unit only costs $20 more, and it really excites me because I just have a ton of respect for when companies notice flaws in products and fix them, because there are some huge legacy brands out there that like make a microphone with a clip that always breaks and falls off, and it's been out for 40 years and they still haven't changed it. Or the same thing in the drum industry, in the guitar industry. I really appreciate when these companies take feedback from the people who are using them day to day and put that forward into new models, allowing for slow growth and improvement on these products for working musicians like me. I know that for my friends who work as sound engineers, they have some mixed thoughts about Xvive and usually prefer the more higher end brands with units costing between $800 to $1,500. But for me as a working musician who just needs to carry something around that's reliable, sounds good, and is really affordable, I think the Xvive is probably the best thing out there. Anyways, I'm super excited about this new U45 unit, and I think you should check it out if you're in the market for a wireless in-ear monitor system. I'll have links down in the description to Sweetwater and Amazon so you can pick one of these up if you like, and that's a great way to support my channel as they are affiliate links and I get a small kickback. But until next time, thanks for watching.